It is World Tarot Day according to YouTube, so let's completely ignore made-up stuff and talk about the new MacBook Airs instead. Want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours? Subscribe and ring the bell. We've now got the full lineup for 2022's WWDC as Apple starts ramping up their marketing around the event, but first, let's talk about that rainbow emoji graphic that they've introduced with it. At a first glance, you might think standard Apple rainbow logo stuff. Nothing to see here, but no. Apple's version is green, yellow, orange, red, purple and blue from top to bottom. There are not enough colours here to start with, and either yellow or orange is missing depending on what you personally consider this colour to be. Answers in the comments please. 5 colours. Are those actually just reflections off the displays of new MacBook Airs that come with matching wallpapers on their super bright new mini-LED displays? I mean, what else could 5 coloured faced emojis be? Also, this red face has the exact same shape as the iMac G3, the original iMac. Are we getting new iMacs too? Okay, I'm probably starting to overreach here a little bit, but still I think we're seeing hardware at this event, and I think that it's going to be the MacBook Air, and if someone would like to buy it for me, that would be great, as news has been so thin on the ground that I'm now a poor tech YouTuber. Pity me. Anyway, WWDC, we have the keynote at 10 AM Pacific, followed by the platform's State of the Union address 3 hours later. The WWDC keynote is likely to be 90 minutes to 2 hours, somewhere around there. That's pretty typical for WWDC, as they'll have iOS, iPadOS, watchOS, tvOS, and macOS to showcase, but not HomePod OS. That's not an OS. And of course any other hardware that we might be seeing, and bear in mind there's a good chance that we could see a Mac Pro with Apple Silicon too, regardless of whether it's ready to ship yet. Now historically we've seen these announced at WWDC and then shipping that following December. We heard that the Pro Display is also getting delayed for shipping till around October. That was from Ross Young, so we basically just automatically assume he's right, because he always is. So I don't think we'll actually see it shipping from WWDC, but if the Mac Pro isn't coming until the end of the year, they could still showcase it because they'll have prototypes, they'll know what it's going to look like, and they could still ship it together. However, that might risk shorter-term sales on the Studio Display. And by the way, I still think that they're going to call the more Pro version of the Studio Display with mini-LED inside it the Studio Display XDR. That just fits in with all of the rest of their naming, and I'm planting my flag on that name right now. The rest of the WWDC week, as remember this is a full week, consists of developer sessions where the devs can get access to Apple's engineers, marketers and more to help them get their apps to the next level. There's of course also the Apple Design Awards, which will be announced at 5 PM Pacific time on the same day as the keynote, although that'll be probably around like 1 AM my time, so I might ignore that and do it the next day. Let me know if anything good happens there, my American friends. I think it's important to point out as well that Apple has also tightened the requirements for those travelling to Cupertino to attend the viewing of WWDC, like for example Sam Cole from iUpdate, the lucky bugger, and Apple are now requiring you to have a negative FDA COVID test uploaded to Apple's own servers beforehand, and then N95 masks while on site. The very fact that Apple is still pushing to keep this in person, even though it seems that COVID is on the rise in the area, means that they're very keen to have people there. That suggests to me that some sort of hardware will be revealed, and that they'll all get to stand in front of those MacBook Airs and get their faces lit up, which will look super cool. There's also potential that Apple could release at least developer APIs and development hardware for their AR/VR headset, something that would certainly warrant an in-person reveal, although I'm not sure at this point if it's clear if the press have been invited alongside developers to the event or not. So hit subscribe if you're excited for WWDC, as we'll be covering it all with a live stream after the keynote, and I'll probably pop up on someone's event before it as well. If you ring that bell, you can also join the notification squad like Team Kinetics, Anthony McIntosh and Mr. Cords yesterday. I want way more of you posting hashtag notification squad in the comments ready for tomorrow please. That was just embarrassing. Also, Apple released this week Pride faces for the Apple Watch and matching Apple Watch bands like every other year. Now I personally think the watch face is kind of weak. I support why they do it. I just think that the watch faces look kind of crap this year, because I'm a fan of complications, but I also think they're kind of hard to read. But I do like the darker band option, so let me know which ones you like down in the comments. And also, we are seeing reports that China lockdowns are starting to affect iPhone production, which is way out, obviously, at this point. We're looking like 3 months ahead of release, which is about when they would be starting, with at least one model up to 3 weeks behind schedule at this point. Now, the details are quite scarce, but I'd guess this is more likely to lead to constrained availability at the launch than actually delaying that launch. We're more likely to see just delivery times slipping a bit quicker than normal. But are you looking to upgrade your iPhone this year? Again, I just keep giving you chances to talk to me. When we're talking about talking to me, iCave Answers is a great way to do that, and we have a question today from Terry Clare asking iCave Answers, will the new Apple VR headset ever replace our monitors? Now, I think this is actually one of the legit places that the VR headsets could be incredibly useful, but I don't think they're going to replace monitors in the way that you would expect, like putting virtual monitors in front of you, because you don't need to have the physical constraints of where a monitor would be. You can literally just have the windows themselves just popping up in front of you. However, I also think that it's not going to require the same amount of processing power in a way as having physical monitors, because you would have multiple windows open in a regular monitor and you might have a couple in front of you, but within your field of view it only has to actually render from the GPU side of things the monitors that you have that you're physically looking at, because the rest of it doesn't actually matter that much. You can still glance over to it, you'll see kind of in your periphery that videos are still going, but it doesn't actually have to render it at high resolution. It can render it at much lower resolution if you're not directly looking at it, and when you glance over, it will already know that you were doing that and have clicked back into that being its focus and bringing it up to the higher graphics resolutions. So I think that's probably a really good plan for a way that it could work, and hopefully within like 2 weeks of now we'll have a better idea of that if they are actually showing any of these APIs at WWDC. I think there's a reasonable chance of it. So what do you guys think? If you've got a question for me to answer in a future video, all you need to do is use that hashtag iCaveAnswers down in the comments with your question, and I'll know you want an answer on the show. I do answer every comment though, so feel free to chat down there, and I'd love to get back to you. Don't forget the notification squad. Don't forget to join the Patreons if you want these videos early and ad-free every day, and we will see you in the next one.